So, one of the biggest factors which is common these days is stress. Stress is like a huge factor. Everybody is stressed. So, how much of a role does stress play in all these metabolic illnesses, and what are some things we can do about that?
So when I talk about the stress, and Kunal can resonate with me, I will not talk about stress. I will talk about the distress. We are using a wrong term. See, stress is important for life, right? We have to stress our body. We have to stress our mind, right? So we can grow ourselves. Let's say you go in a gym. What you are doing? You are taking a 10 kg, then you take a 15 kg. So what you are doing? You are actually putting a stress on your muscles. So stress is important. So we'll not say that stress. It's actually a distress. When your body and your mind and spirit cannot convert this stress into a eustress or a good healthy outcome, you're actually converting this stress into a distress. And distress is a problem. So we should change our terminology. We should not use a stress. We should use a distress. First thing. And distress, when you put in constant distress on your subconscious mind, actually you hamper your limbic system. And the whole science of limbic system, HP axis, and how it's going to affect your hormones. So it's not just a stress that going to affect your body, it's a distress that actually malform your limbic system and your hypothalamus pituitary axis. And then you can have a two response. One is your sympathetic response, and other response you can have your cortisol response. And now there's a whole science, or all science and connecting dot, that when you have a chronic stress, and I will not talk about the acute stress. Acute stress is a good thing. If you can convert that stress into a eustress, right? So we talk about the chronic stress. And chronic stress can lead to adrenal function, even high cortisol level is connected to your metabolic syndrome. And by the way, what is cortisol? Cortisol is the body's natural steroids. So let's say if somebody is having a constant distress and they're constantly stimulating their adrenal glands, and adrenal gland is constantly increasing their cortisol level, the small rise of cortisol level over a long period of time, they actually invite the metabolic conditions. So this is how it is connected with your metabolic syndrome. So a huge impact of a stress or chronic stress. And nowadays you can see we are having too much brain stimulation from a social media, from news, and from all around. So our brain cannot process that stimulation, and nobody knows how to calm down the nervous system because we are in a world where we have constant stimulation. Now look at our Earth. We don't have a concept of day and night. Even night we have lights. So if you take a flight and if you look at the city at the night from this 30,000 foot height, you will see there is no night. There is no night. So all these small impacts are there which constantly stimulate our brain, and that make our brain distress. And that has a huge effect on our metabolic conditions. Yes, you are right, Dave. That is the one part that people can develop a metabolic syndrome. But I would like to give you idea about, when you look at the chronic condition, don't just find out the one cause. Now we are doing a mistake because in conventional medicine, our mind is grown to find out the one cause. That's how we had studied a conventional medicine in this regards, that if you're a patient, then we have to find out the one cause, because we had taught in same sense that if you find out two cause, then you're probably wrong. Because if at that time we have acute conditions, patients come with a specific symptom like fever or pain or chest pain. So our whole evolution, whole knowledge is based on acute conditions. So in functional medicine, we should understand that we might be a multiple cause. All the contributing factors are there. And that's the reason patients develop a chronic conditions.